Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by Get Go Cafe and Market, where right now, Dale, it's November, so you know they're bringing the pumpkin.
They're bringing the pumpkin, and the Steelers' defense is once again bringing the heat.
Yes, they are. 4 turnovers as they win 17-12. Insane play. The defense scores another touchdown. They really only allowed 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, it was another outstanding effort by the defense, and if you think about, if you factor the opponent into the equation, really a dominant defensive effort overall. 1 for 14 for the Rams on third downs. Kept them in third and long situations and really won the game on the early downs. I know you look at that 1 for 14 and say, well, you know, they stopped them on third down, but how many of those were third and longs?
Right. And because that's the thing, Goff is a guy, if he gets the quick, easy completion, he'll take it. But when you have 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 14, some of those were, you have to look downfield. You have to be able to see, players moving forward. And on top of that, not just the distance, but the cornerbacks and the secondary was on fire in this game. Yeah,
they held Cooper Kupp without a catch. The idea was, from the guys that I talked to, whoever had him knew that they had safety help over the top. They bracketed him the entire game. They knew he was the guy that Jared Goff likes to go to, especially on third downs. He had 21 catches on the season on third down coming into this game. That led the NFL. He had none on 4 targets in this game.
That's insane preparation on the part of the Steelers.
I'm tired of this, Carter.
What are you tired of, man?
I'm tired of it. I get no credit.
You get no credit for what?
I get no credit from you.
I get no respect.
I get no credit from you for my football acumen.
Which football acumen?
You think I'm just a hockey and baseball guy?
You are just a hockey and baseball guy.
I'm tired of it, man. Look, read the staff picks under Dale Lawley's
get out of here.
Get out feature every week. I had a rough start, okay?
Because, wait. I'm the one that's called the homer. This guy's picked the Steelers more than I have this season.
He has, because he believes in their makeup. He believes in the defense.
You're speaking on yourself in third person.
I am. You address me that way. So in this particular game, there was only going to be one matchup, and it was described accurately by the last person picking in the staff picks, and that is, it was going to be the Rams' shell of an offensive line, particularly the interior. I'm not including Andrew Whitworth in that, obviously, against the Steelers' mad, insane pass rush. Dude, I just talked to TJ Watt downstairs, and he said, this is fun. This is like, he goes, we're not thinking out there. There's no, I said back to him, I said, there's no X's and O's. He said, there's no X's and O's. We're just flying to the football. It's not any more complicated than that.
I think you got to give credit to this team as a whole. Sean McVay, the great offensive mind that always credits him for, they took his offense away in this game.
Sean McVay, who?
Exactly.
I mean, really, look, it's still about personnel, and it's still about the trenches. When we went into the season, Cleveland's the next opponent, obviously, and anyone who's paying attention to the Browns knew that they weren't going to amount to anything because they didn't have an offensive line. Well, then they didn't, in part because they don't have an offensive line. The Steelers got the job done. They got it done because of the defense, and they kind of crossed their fingers. But the best of all predictions, it should be noted, is Devin Bush on our website every Friday. He's frightening. He called, 2 interceptions and 4 sacks. What do you know? It was 2 interceptions and 4 sacks and a whole bunch of splash.
I called 4 turnovers on Locked On Steelers. I think I'm pretty good, too.
Yeah, you're all right, Carter. Is the offense coming? You see them in practice all the time. Are there signs?
Yeah, I mean, there are some. I thought Mason Rudolph threw the ball well today.
He did.
There was only really one pass that he threw that could have been picked off. Vance McDonald broke that one up. Other than that, he made the throws that he needed to make, and they had 4 drops in this game. 3 of them came on third down, so you wonder what would have happened had they made those catches.
4 drops and a couple. Remember that you and I were talking during the game in the press box. There were they would have required an above average.
Yeah, right.
They weren't drops, but they were. The day could have been very different.
It could have been, yeah.
With those drops, and the narrative about the offense could have been different. But it feels to me, Dale, like the narrative has at least moved away from how are we going to survive Mason Rudolph to how are we going to all make him better.
Right, and that's what they need to do. And you have to remember, they're playing this game without James Conner. I think we see now that makes a difference.
It does.
They should.
Where was the running game?
Yeah,
right.
they should get him back for the game against the Browns. That should help the red zone offense immensely when you have that hammer in there. And, I think there are better days ahead for this offense. That's not a bad Rams defense that they played today.
Well, no, that's the other thing to consider here.
Yeah. The other team gets paid too, and those guys are pretty good.
No, but they have guys specifically. I mean, first of all, you're talking about the best. I don't even think you're
the best defensive player in the game.
He's the best defensive player in the game. He might be the best player in the game.
Yes.
Depending on what you do with the quarterback position overall when you make that assessment. But he also had his plays. Clay Matthews had his play. And then Jalen Ramsey's in the back. They have real live players on that side of the ball.
Right.
They didn't get to where they got last season by accident. The Steelers still had that drive, and that's what Mason Rudolph and a lot of the offensive guys were talking about. No, they didn't punch it in. If they did, everybody would have breathed a little bit easier, but they did get down the field, you know?
And it took half the fourth quarter off the clock.
7 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was a key drive. It was they hadn't done a lot in the third quarter and the fourth quarter before that, and so it was a very big drive, and I think it was a big drive for the confidence of this team. If you think about it, you've got Mason Rudolph, who's a second-year player, throwing to James Washington, a second-year player, handing the ball off to Jalen Samuels, who's a second-year player, Juju Smith-Schuster's a third-year player, and Deontay Johnson's a first-year player, a rookie. I mean, it's a really young offense at the skill positions, and so there are going to be some growing pains, and we saw some today again. And
they could also get better. That's the other part. They theoretically, very realistically, could get better.
And the Browns are coming.